Football is a man's game because women hit like girls. They run like girls. And they never play with passion.
Simply unbelievable.
This game will never mean as much to women as it does to men. The game has never been played by women until now.
For the millions watching around the world, it's LFL football night from Austin, Texas. Hello, LFL fans. It's Mitch Mortaza joining you alongside former NFL quarterback Bobby Huco. A little bit later, Desi Mitchison down on the sidelines. Bobby, here we are, the 2016 Expansion Bowl, the Austin Acoustic versus the New England Liberty. Here are a pair of teams that are very different early in the season. Austin looked good against Seattle, while New England has struggled a bit.
No, you're right. I watched both openers, obviously. Austin has a lot of potential. I think they might win a couple games this year. New England, the coaching was a little weak in the opener. In fact, they played a weak Omaha team last year. They only scored 6 points the entire season. They let them score 26, and that offense was disarrayed all over the field.
Yeah, and talking about New England, the road doesn't get much easier. They go home next, and they got to play Atlanta and Chicago, so they've got to get a win on the road here tonight. What's the key for them?
Well, they have to simplify the offense for their franchise quarterback, Alex Drake. She can throw the ball. She's a leader. She's just young. Tighten that offense up, and she has to get the football to Kristen Beckman. She can catch the football, a Wes Welker type. She's a potential to be all-league, but she needs the football.
That's on the New England side. On the Austin side, this is a team, as I said, performed very well in the season opener against Seattle. For a closer look at this roster, we go down to the best-looking broadcast member of this team, Desi Mitchison.
Thanks, Mitchell. While Austin lost 44-8 in Seattle on opening night, this is a very optimistic team about its potential. I talked to two of their team leaders, Steph Wickett, the spirited middle linebacker, who said they learned a lot after their last game, and they are ready to put it to good use against New England. And also to Shay Winfrey, the starting quarterback, who said she is ready for tonight, just like her team. As I said, despite their season opening loss, the Austin Acoustic roster is ready to play tonight. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Desi. That sets the stage. It's the Expansion Bowl. A hungry New England Liberty taking on the Austin Acoustic. Say it with me. Kickoff is next. Back to LFL football night at Cedar Park Center. The 2016 Expansion Bowl, the Austin Acoustic, hosting the New England Liberty. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco. And Desi Mitchison working our sidelines. Bobby, what is the importance of getting that first win as a franchise?
Mitch, it's huge. When I spoke to both coaches, Donnie Williams from New England and Jericho Harris from Austin, they both need this win bad to get on the board. This is not Major League Baseball with 162 games. It's a short season. Every game is important.
Michelle Marshall will do duties here. Get this game underway. Nice high kick all the way back to the goal line. That's fielded by Jessica Johnson. Cutting back across the field now, getting away from one tackler. Good pursuit here by Austin.
Great special teams coaching by Jericho Harris. The lane integrity was great. She tries to get outside. She can't get around the edge, brings it back. Everybody stays in their lane. And the kicker, Michelle Marshall, makes a great tackle.
Michelle Marshall making an impact on all sides of the ball. Plays a bit of defense. Could start for him tonight at running back. And that's the story for New England. The young Alex Drake had a rough start in the season opener against Seattle, but absolutely is the leader of this team.
A lot of talent right there at the quarterback position. She just needs a lot of help around her. She has a great receiver if she gets her the ball, but as a quarterback, she has all the skills.
Drake under center, a 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. That handoff going to Astrid Cruz. Good gain by Cruz, about 8 yards.
Cruz has a great motor. She's not going to break it for 40 yards, but she's going to get you 3 to 8 yards. I know the head coach is going to get her the ball a lot to open up that passing game for Alex Drake.
Austin's defense much improved from that Seattle game. A few personnel changes. And you could see it's not a very big defense, but very aggressive and great pursuit to the ball. Another handoff to Cruz. Cruz going to try the left side. Nothing doing, running out of real estate. Multiple people on the tackle. That's Kyler Hurt. Astrid Cruz gaining 3 yards on the carry. That will be enough for a New England first down.
Donnie Williams has New England coming out playing that smash mouth football, just grinding it right up the front behind the blocking of Rachel Murphy. That will open up the passing game big time for New England.
That is exactly what they do here, Bobby. That is another carry by Cruz, the third one in a row. This time only gaining a yard. You could see some frustration early. These two have never met, but already do not like each other. That's Tiffany Zimmerman right in the middle of it.
This game means so much to both teams. I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
That's Zimmerman, and that is a 2nd and 9 now for this young New England offense. Number 11, Alex Drake, not wearing number 12. She says she's got to earn that right. Now from the shotgun, quick dump off. Not sure who that was intended to. Looked to be to Kristen Beckman.
Beckman is a playmaker. We talked about her in the pregame. They're going to try to get her the football anywhere in space because she has great wheels and great hands.
Beckman and Drake worked a lot in the offseason, so there is that bit of chemistry. It has not translated to the football field just yet, but obviously this team is just getting started. A 3rd and 9, ball at the 24 of Austin. This looks to be a screen pass, well overthrown by Drake. Pass intended for Astrid Cruz as we meet the starters for New England.
Jolie Fezikai, wide receiver.
Kristen Beckman,
Wide receiver.
Lulu Jackson, tight end. Samantha Puckett, tight end.
Rachel Murphy, center.
Astrid Cruz, running back.
Alex Drake, quarterback.
The key to that offense tonight is that passing game with Alex Drake and Kristen Beckman.
There is Alex Drake breaking through arm tackles, getting to the outside. And Drake will walk into the end zone. New England draws first blood.
Whoa, Nelly, what a run here by Drake. Bad angles of attack by the entire defense. She cuts past everybody and shows her athleticism. Watch this cut. There's almost a tackle on that block, but it worked. And she goes in for 6. Wow, what a play.
Drake evading not only the Acoustic defense, but also that sideline. An impressive start for this offense. A 6-play, 36-yard drive. Taking up about 3 minutes and 8 seconds. New England now setting up for the 1-point conversion from the 1-yard line. Drake under center, handing it off to Astrid Cruz. And Cruz barreling into the end zone. That'll be good. Astrid Cruz, as you talked about earlier, a young, shifty runner. Figures to really work into this offense.
Absolutely. Great drive blocking by Lulu Jackson. She just followed Jackson's block right into the end zone for points.
That is what New England needed on the road. We talked about them struggling against Omaha, looking sharp early in this game.
I know it's early in the season, Mitch, but Alex Drake, she's got to be on the list for Rookie of the Year.
And another candidate here, Bobby, is Tashay Winfrey, the quarterback of the Austin Acoustic, number 10. We're going to get our first look at perhaps the most athletically gifted quarterback in the LFL. From the shotgun, this will be a toss left. Michelle Marshall, great pursuit. Lulu Jackson and Jolie Efazoki.
Efazoki, she came off the edge. She read that sweep. Great play. They stopped her short of nothing.
Tashay Winfrey, there's a look at her. We talked about her. A lot of people are comparing her to Colin Kaepernick. Has the arm and great mobility.
She's a great leader. I interviewed her this week. She's going to be a super quarterback. She has all the skills to be as good as anyone in the league.
From the shotgun again, that is an inside handoff. We've got our first flag. This may go against Austin. 2-yard carry by Leilana Lopez.
The New England line definitely jumped way early. They're going to get 5 yards against them on that.
There's encroachment by the defense. Get 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's head referee Gary Vaught. The penalty will actually go against New England. That should set up about a 2nd and 5 here.
A really raucous crowd here tonight, Mitch. This crowd is an Austin, Texas great night for football, a football town. This is fun.
A 2nd and 5, as we said earlier. Tashay Winfrey remains in the shotgun, fakes the toss, gonna roll left. Overthrown, pass intended for Leilani Lopez. Jolie Efizoki once again in coverage.
That's what New England is going to have to do tonight. Get pressure on Winfrey. Jackson, Ofizoki, and Alexander right there. Put all kind of heat on her. She had nowhere to throw the football.
A vital 3rd down play early in this game. It'll be 3rd and 5. Ball remains at the 20-yard line. Winfrey remains in the shotgun. Receivers flanked to each side. Winfrey back to pass, looking down the field, looking to dump it off across her body. That is arm strength that we talked about, throwing across her body and completing it to Steph Wickett. That'll bring us to our first break. Alex Drake getting New England on the board. Back to LFL football night inside Cedar Park Center in Austin, Texas, and the Austin Acoustic on offense. This is a little option play. Great toss out. That goes to Michelle Marshall. And Marshall gains 6 yards on that carry.
Great play by Winfrey. She ran the option perfectly. A low snap by Steph Wickett. As an athlete, she picked it up and made a great pitch, 1st down.
Now let's meet the starters for Austin.
Leilani Lopez, wide receiver.
Chastity Morales, wide receiver. Tiffany Zimmerman, tight end. Emily Thomas, tight end.
Steph Wickett, center.
Michelle Marshall, running back.
Tashay Winfrey,
Your quarterback.
There's no question the key player tonight is Tashay Winfrey, the quarterback to watch.
We have a dead ball, delay a game. Austin, still 1st down.
The penalty on the Austin Acoustic. This is a great collection of coaches and athletes, but let's not forget, they've never worked together prior.
Absolutely. They're not on the same page. Jericho Harris, the coach of Austin, they have a numeric offensive system, but right now they're not communicating to the quarterback.
That 5-yard penalty now backs up Austin. It'll be a 1st and 15 ball at the Austin 23. And you could see still a lot of confusion with this offense. Winfrey remains in the shotgun. Looking down the field, now going to check down. That pass complete. Michelle Marshall running possessed. Marshall gaining 14 yards on that reception.
Winfrey can spread them and shred them as good as any quarterback in the league. Marshall does an out route to trip set. The other 2 receivers went deep. Great offensive play.
At 14-yard gain, now setting up a 2nd and 1. Obviously, you can open up your playbook here. Winfrey deep, gonna hand it off to Michelle Marshall. Headline tackle. Marshall getting past the first arm tackle, gaining 4 yards. No mistaking here. This offense is gonna go through number 14.
You spoke about Marshall earlier. She is a talented player. She was hit behind the line of scrimmage, stayed on her feet and made something happen.
Marshall now setting up a 1st and goal for this Austin offense. Tashay Winfrey taking a lot of time to look over that New England defense. Ball at the 9-yard line from the shotgun. Looking for a quick dump off. Marissa Goldston. A lot of slot-type receivers on this roster.
Great call. Man-to-man coverage. McKeon came up to guard Goldston. She did a little option route, came inside and broke it back out. A little jerk receiver route right there, and it worked.
Now a 2nd and goal. This New England defense on its heels. Austin driving pretty effectively. Ball at the 5-yard line. Winfrey looking to pass again. Quick slant pattern, almost taken to the house. That was Kristen Beckman.
Beckman should have taken this. It got deflected to the line right into Beckman's hands. She's a standout wide receiver and safety. That could have been coast to coast. 6 points for New England, but she dropped the football.
That was Jessica Johnson, the DN, getting her hands up and deflecting that Winfrey pass. And that could have been disaster for Austin early.
Teshay taking a chance on a quick post against Beckman at safety. She couldn't get in there, and it should have been 6 points for New England.
Now a 3rd and goal. Winfrey looking to just toss left. A broken play. Keeping it alive with her legs, getting into the end zone. Number 10, Teshay Winfrey. We talked about her athletic ability, and that was on display on this play.
Wow, Mitch, throw me another marshmallow. Winfrey is on fire. There's nothing there. It's a broken play. She breaks 4 tackles getting into the end zone. Great score for Austin.
Austin matching New England. Winfrey's just a special talent.
She might be the most athletic quarterback in the league. There was absolutely nothing there. New England was all over her, and somehow she got in the end zone.
And you could see they're really investing a lot offensively with Teshay Winfrey. They haven't really set up the run here at all. This whole drive has been on the arm of number 10, and they're going to keep it there to Michelle Marshall. An impressive slant pattern for the extra point.
Great call by Jericho Harris, a trip set. They bring her underneath, a great throw by Winfrey, and that drive was absolutely outstanding by Austin.
To reference it exactly, 9 plays, 35 yards, taking up nearly 6 minutes of the game.
You can't keep talking that She runs one route. She's running one route. Get your damn hands on her. You're too high. Fuck the ball, we're on the goal line.
Donnie Williams getting all over Kristen Beckman with her tackling technique and also her coverage. He's saying he should be all over her.
Rachel, block some damn body.
Donnie Williams is irate right now, not a happy head coach.
That New England offense will be taking over now after its defense gave up a mega drive to Austin. Alex Straight going back to work from her own 15-yard line. From the shotgun 2-back set. Misdirection handoff. Great looking play, but even better pursuit by that Austin defense. Led by Tiafi Tiggs. Coming over from Australia, playing the safety position.
That play looked like it had a lot more potential than, like you said, like it had. Tiafi Tiggs read that crossbuck action and held it to a 3-yard gain.
A 2nd and 6, a very similar formation. Again, handoff to Astrid Cruz. And that Austin defense absolutely swarming to the football. Cruz only gaining 2 yards on that carry.
They are all over the football. They tried that same misdirection, but that was a mission impossible for Cruz right there trying to get through that acoustic defense.
That should bring us to the end of the first quarter. New England and Austin battling to a 1-point game. And why a 1-point game? Because of this young lady, Teshay Winfrey. Back to LFL football night. After 10 minutes of play in the Expansion Bowl, Austin leads it 8-7 as Alex Drake and this New England offense goes back to work.
Alex Drake, I'm really impressed with. In fact, that whole New England offense looks really good tonight.
A 3rd and 4 play, a design screen pass to Kristen Beckman. Beckman, we've talked about her in the pregame show, will look to be a major contributor to this offense.
Beckman bobbled the ball. If she would have controlled it from the start, she would have easily got the first down, but now she's short.
A 3-yard gain, setting up a 4th and 1 for this New England offense. And you could see a little bit of confusion with Lulu Jackson, the left tackle. They're going to hand it off on the 4th and 1. Great open field tackle. And now a swarm of defenders. What a tackle by Tiafi Tiggs. The aforementioned Aussie coming in and getting the turnover.
Her and Fudge, great pursuit, but I blame the running back, Cruz. 4th and 1, you have to go vertical. You have to go north and south to get the first.
Now the Austin offense taking over, going up against a good New England defense. Let's meet their starters.
Heidi Simmons, cornerback.
Astrid Cruz, cornerback.
Jessica Johnson, strong safety.
Kenya McKeown, safety.
Tessa Alexandria, middle linebacker.
Jolie Fezikai, defensive end. Lulu Jackson, defensive end.
The key to that defense is going to be middle linebacker Tessa Alexandria. She's got to stop up that middle all night tonight.
That's a pitch play. Marissa Goldston showing some athletic ability, getting to the outside for 5 yards.
Goldston is one of the fastest players on the Acoustic. She has to tuck that football away, but showing her wheels getting outside. Wow, she's got some speed.
Goldston, standing only at 5'3", from Fort Worth, Texas, elected not to play for the Dallas Desire. Instead, come over to Austin, and it's paying off for her. Now a 2nd and 5 ball at the 18-yard line. Winfrey calling Michelle Marshall in motion. This looked to be a designed rollout play. A lot of defensive pursuit, open field shots at Winfrey, and nobody wants to tackle number 10. Winfrey gaining 8 yards on that designed rollout.
That was absolutely right. A design quarterback sweep. Danielle Green had a great shot at her, but Winfrey, and being the athlete she is, she should have been stopped for a loss, but makes that into a positive gain.
Nobody wanted anything to do with number 10 on that play, especially defensively for New England.
If I'm on the edge, if I'm Kristen Beckman, I want no part of her, but she has to because she's in the game.
From the shotgun, a 1st and goal. Winfrey once again showing that she can beat you with her arm or her legs. There's an option toss play. That's a fumble. And Winfrey, rightfully so, getting on the ball. That was a bit of miscommunication.
Bad read by Winfrey. You have to tack the inside shoulder at the defensive end or the corner. She stopped, which threw the whole play off. Then she made a bad pitch. As good as she's playing, that was her worst play of the night.
A loss of 2 yards on that fumble. That is about the only thing this offense has not done right tonight. Winfrey now backed up to the 16-yard line, a 2nd and goal. Trips right. Winfrey looking over that secondary. Here comes the blitz on New England. That is a late flag, a free play for Austin. Could not connect with Marissa Goldston. It should be offsides on New England.
Defense, number 5, 5-yard penalty. We play 2nd down.
Reese, you holding up the time. You holding up the time talking to T-Shay about whatever. Whatever that is, y'all need to talk about that on the sideline. Not the 25 seconds between plays.
That's a great point by Coach Jericho Harris, telling Goldston, do all the talking on the sideline, not on the field, because they have a hurry-up offense, and it's affecting the 25-second clock.
A 2nd and goal. Ball moved up to the 11-yard line after that penalty. Looking to the right, receivers covered. Great coverage by New England. Almost connecting with Steph Wickett. Just throwing a little to the outside.
Great protection by Zimmerman and Thomas. She had all day to throw. The initial call was not there, but she had like 4 more seconds. Found an open receiver, just didn't get her a football.
3rd and goal now. Austin looking to extend its lead, already leading 8-7 in this game. Ball remains at the 11-yard line, and the crowd starting to come to life. A New England player just flies onto the field, and that's going to be a free play for Austin. Back in the end zone. Michelle Marshall, who's become the favorite target of Tashay Winfrey.
Boom goes the dynamite. It's a free play. They ran a player on the field late. Winfrey finds Marshall wide open. That's 3 points for Austin. Great read, great throw.
A lot of credit to number 10, Tashay Winfrey, who had the patience to sit in the pocket, buy a little extra time, and find Michelle Marshall in the back of the end zone.
On the defense, the penalties decline. Touchdown's good. Now we're going for the extra point.
As we expected, that penalty on New England will be waved off as Austin takes an even bigger lead.
Heidi Simmons from St. Cloud, Florida, she was out of control, didn't know what was going on, ran on the field late. She probably should have stayed off the field, but that gave Austin a free play.
Austin now from the 3-yard line going for 2 points. Winfrey back in the shotgun. Great evading the rush. And what a pattern by Michelle Marshall. Can we say enough about number 14 early in this game?
I really like the play selection. Lulu Jackson came in untouched. One move, gets out of the way, finds Marshall underneath for 6.
With that two-point conversion, Austin will take a 16-7 lead. This offense looking good early.
I really have to hand it to Coach Jericho Harris and his offensive coordinator. This offense looks like a well-oiled machine right now.
New England taking over from its own 15-yard line, trying to keep pace with this explosive Austin offense. Fakes the handoff, does Alex Drake, trying to get to the outside, nothing doing. A host of defenders led by Tiafi Tiggs, who's having a great first half.
She really is. It was a designed run for the quarterback. She didn't wait for her block. Lulu Jackson pulled, the left guard came out, but she didn't wait for the block, and there was nothing there without the blocking.
A 2nd and 8. You can see a lot of confusion remains on that New England offense. Drake remains in the shotgun as well. Quick screen pass to Astrid Cruz. Good open field tackle. This time, Kyler Hurt, number 7.
Kyler Hurt going head hunting. Watch this hit. She went right for the head. Wow. That was close to being a penalty right there, but you got to appreciate her aggressive style.
That's a excuse. Y'all got more answers.
Don Williams, head coach of New England, not having a good first half. Screen now to the right again to Cruz. Cruz cutting back inside. Tackle by Selena Fudge. That'll set up a 4th and 5.
You can see what Donnie Williams is trying to do. It's a swing pass out of the backfield. You throw the ball to Cruz real quick, get the ball in space, and see what she can do.
You can hear this Austin crowd coming to life. Looking down the field, Drake has a receiver wide open. An impressive connection with Kristen Beckman for a gain of 29 yards.
Great fake by Drake. She faked like she was going to hit Cruz out of the backfield. The whole defensive backfield went for the fake. Tiafi Tiggs came up, and right behind her, Beckman went. What a play by New England. Incredible play.
That is something that New England fans do not want to see. That's Kristen Beckman limping after that 29-yard reception. Handoff to Astrid Cruz. Just walks into the end zone. That'll be good for 6 for New England.
Right now, the Acoustic crowd is in shock. They thought they had New England shut down. 2 swing passes for nothing, but that was a setup by Donnie Williams. He put Beckman behind the coverage after the safeties, Tiggs and Hurt, got sucked up.
Now the extra point attempt for New England. Handoff, Astrid Cruz. Look at that defense. Led by number 7 again, Kyler Hurt, who's having one hell of a first half. Astrid Cruz a little frustrated after that play.
You have to like that swag by Kyler Hurt, the way she comes up from the safety position. She plays tough football. Charlie Strong for the University of Texas would love to have her on the team.
We all know the Texas Longhorns have had a tough time here in Austin recently. This city wants a winner, and they may have one here with the Austin Acoustic, who played well against Seattle in the opener. And tonight they're up 3 against New England.
It might have been a blessing in disguise to open up as a new franchise against the LFL champs, the Seattle Mist. They're playing great football tonight.
We are in the second half of the second quarter here. Tashay Winfrey looking over the middle, has a receiver. And that receiver is Chastity Morales, a 21-yard gain.
This is like an old Texas shootout right here. New England has a bomb, almost scores, gets down to the 1. Winfrey comes right back. First play, throws a bomb the other way. Great football.
What you can do, I can do better. You could see Tashay Winfrey matching Alex Drake, the young heralded quarterbacks. Again from the shotgun, buying time and dumping the pass off to Leilani Lopez. That completion good for 5 yards.
Great quarterbacks have great feet. Did you see her move in the pocket? She got attacked from the outside, just shoved her feet over to deliver the ball underneath. Great eye and hand coordination by the quarterback, Winfrey.
Really impressed by her patience, and she seems to be more composed this game than she was versus Seattle.
I think she wants to come out and show she's as good as KK Matheny and all the other quarterbacks.
That's a bit of a stretch. And speaking of a stretch play, that's a toss right to Marissa Goldston. And just in there like a pinball machine, getting blown up by Jessica Johnson. Austin losing 2 yards on that carry, and that'll bring us to a media timeout. This Austin team leading and now driving behind the will of number 10, Tashay Winfrey.
You're a defensive end. Come here, listen to me. Look at me. When I got you at defensive end, what the are you going? You going? What do you mean you don't know? You don't know to go get the quarterback a rush when you at defensive end?
And pitch it.
Yeah, but that's if she running an option. She dropped back the quarterback. I mean, she dropped back on a pass play.
That is an expansion team at work. It is a work in progress in New England right now.
A lot of disagreement right there. Danielle Green thought she read something different than Coach Donnie Williams saw.
Great dump off to Steph Wickett. And this offense finds its way into the end zone once again.
Steph Wickett, I love the call. Underneath, everything's going left. Wickett goes right. She's wide open. Great athletic play by Winfrey again. There's nobody out there from New England.
That is Steph Wickett's second touchdown reception of this young season. And I'm really impressed by this Austin offense, Bobby.
Winfrey is incredible tonight. Some of the best plays are not the plays you call in the huddle. They're broken plays. It's like street football. You make stuff happen. When you have an athlete like her at quarterback, it's fun football, and she scores touchdowns.
This Austin offense feeling themselves. Going for a 2-point conversion from the 3-yard line. Toss left, Marissa Goldston, a dangerous play. That looked like to be a design play. I'm not sure the best call in the goal line.
No, in fact, a terrible call, as it showed right there. They tried to reverse it back to Michelle Marshall. This was coming back the other way. They only need 2 yards, and they try a reverse like that to Marshall. Shut down by New England.
Our score will remain Austin 22, New England 13. Coach Jericho Harris having a great first half and a great team debut here. Alex Drake has her work cut out for us, but give her credit. She's matched Winfrey all night.
Mitch, this is an exciting football game. The crowd's got to love this. It's going coast to coast, back and forth. 2 great quarterbacks, a young team, young coaches.
Yeah, if you didn't know any better, you'd think this was Atlanta versus Chicago. But no, this is New England versus Austin. Give credit to these athletes and these coaches. This has been a very entertaining first half of football. Another quick screen to Astrid Cruz. Cruz will gain about 4 yards on that play. Tackled by Tiffany Merritt.
That's the same play that set up the long pass, the long post pattern on the previous series. They might be trying to do again. And you see the safeties aren't coming up. Cruz got more yardage on that than she did the previous 2 swing passes.
I believe they're starting to pay a little more attention to number 2. They were looking to set up that screen again. It wasn't there. Looking down the field, Alex Drake just tossing this one up. That'll have no chance. It looked like that pass was intended for Kristen Beckman.
That was the exact same call they did on the previous drive where they hit the post pattern to Beckman. They faked it out in the flat to Cruz. It's like throwing chum in the water, trying to get the safeties to go for the blood, and then you get Beckman behind them. They got pressure on the quarterback, Drake. She had no time to get the ball out there.
Alex Drake in this offense struggled in the 2-minute drill. When they were playing against Omaha, they looked to be a little more in sync here. Nearly a minute left here in the first half of football. A great stiff arm by Astrid Cruz. Cruz gaining 4 yards, 3 yards on that carry.
Not a big game, but she made the right read. Danielle Green did a kick-out block. She followed the block, turned it up. Only got 3, but she made the right run.
That clock is starting to work against New England as we go under a minute remaining. And they're going to keep it on the ground with Astrid Cruz. We do have a penalty. And this could be a false start on New England.
Actually, I think it's going to go the other way. I think it's against Austin. We'll see what they call.
Head referee Gary Vaught and crew discussing. This is a big call here in the second quarter.
Great encroachment on the defense, the complete line, be a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be a first down.
You called it, Bobby. They're going to call this as an encroachment call on the defense. Bottom of your screen, that looks to be Tiffany Zimmerman. She did jump.
That's a tough call. I don't think she jumped. The refs, I think, were wrong, but you know what? Even a broken clock is right twice a day, Mitch. We'll let them go with that one.
You're going to argue every point with me tonight, aren't you, Bobby? That is Astrid Cruz gaining 4 yards as the clock continues to run on this offense. It'd be nice to see a little more urgency from this New England offense.
I'm a little surprised. You saw Alex Drake's touchdown run. She's not getting involved with the offense right now at all.
2nd and 6, design screen, and they smelled that out. Tiffany Zimmerman absolutely unloading on Astrid Cruz.
You can't keep running this play. It's so basic. It's a swing pass with no blocking. They're going to get their running backs killed. You got to put a little deception in there somewhere.
A 3rd and 7 after that 1-yard loss. They're going to look to the end zone. Nope, little check down, completed and lost. I'm not sure if did she have possession of that?
I think she did. Was she down is the question. It was a great throw by Drake. I believe she has, well, it's a good call, Mitch. Now I'm going to agree with you. I'm not sure she had the football.
That pass play to Jolie Efizoki, and we may have a challenge here.
It looked like she caught it, and then she made one movement to make her down the field, but right when she's doing that, the ball came out. I think that's incomplete.
I don't know. It looked like she made a football move, and I don't know why New England would be challenging. That's head coach Don Williams throwing out the challenge flag. And that's Jericho Harris going crazy on his end.
The ruling on the field, incomplete pass.
They're going to say that was an incomplete pass, and I would be irate too if I was Austin. Coach Jericho Harris trying to get the attention of the officials. It looked like she had possession and made a football move, and the ball came loose.
I'm going to go against you, Mitch. I'm going the other way. I think she did not have it before she made the football move. Before her foot came down, the ball came out.
And that's Coach Jericho Harris saying she had possession, and that was a fumble.
Did you call it an incomplete pass?
At least Gary Vaught is doing all the talking he needs. I've never seen a head referee go over and have lengthy discussions with both head coaches.
I think the referee is confused, obviously.
I've never seen a call where both teams have challenged it. That's a new one.
We have a timeout. We have a challenge on the field. Austin has challenged that it was an incomplete pass.
Are you sure that's not Fluff, Tiger Woods' old caddy? I mean, the way he's calling this game, I think it is.
And we're going to get a look at it here. That looked like she made a football move. This is the better angle from the truck. And did she have possession right here? It looks like she did. She took a step and turned up the field and then started losing the ball.
I don't think she had control. Right there, the ball's out. I think that's incomplete.
Right there. Unfortunately, we don't have the backside angle. This could go either way. You got to think that the play on the field, the call on the field rather, is going to stay.
Exactly. I think the call on the field, incomplete, is going to stick.
Whenever it's inconclusive like this, these rules are very similar to the NFL. They're going to side on whatever was called on the field, and that was an incomplete pass by Gary Vaught and his crew.
Gary Vaught's taking a long time on this. I think he might be calling a friend.
Looks like they've got the official word from upstairs. Here's a big call.
After the review, it is a catch and a turnover.
Wow. They saw something we did not. That is not what Coach Donnie Williams was hoping for.
He's trying to hold it in right now, but he is one upset head coach. That's a game changer right there.
From every angle you and I had, Bobby, it looked like she did not retain possession, and that ball simply came loose.
Right when she tried to tuck it in, it was out, and it was, in my eyes, that's incomplete.
Nonetheless, Austin will take over. Ball at the 15-yard line with little time remaining on the clock. To Shea Winfrey throwing off the back leg, nearly connecting with Michelle Marshall.
Jericho Harris, he's not happy going into the locker room just winning the ball game. He's going to try to put more points on the board, even though there's only a few seconds left.
This offense has the firepower and the speed on the outside to try something here in the end zone. And they're going to flank 3 receivers to the right. To Shea Winfrey looking over that defense like a veteran quarterback. Now in the shotgun, evading the big rush, dumping off. That looked to be complete to her left tackle, Emily Thomas. and a loss of 6 yards. That will bring us to the end of the first half. A half of great offensive football and some key plays. We're back with halftime after this.
Halftime, that means it's 0-0. All right? We're not fucking done yet. We made a fucking big impact out there. You guys don't agree?
Yeah, we are. Let's go.
So come on.
That was a look inside the New England Liberty locker room as we bring you back to halftime here at LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Huco. Now, Bobby, this was called the Expansion Bowl, but this has been some pretty good football. Very entertaining. Austin leading at 22-13.
I was really surprised by that New England offense. Even though they're down 9 points to Austin, that offense was great in the first half. They had 51 yards rushing and 42 through the air.
What about on the Austin side of the ball? How do you grade them through one half of football?
Tashay Winfrey, the quarterback, was outstanding. She was 8 out of 12, 2 touchdowns. Just a couple weeks ago, she was a little overwhelmed against the champ Seattle, but she looks great so far.
Now, speaking of those quarterbacks, Tashay Winfrey and Alex Drake, they led their offenses to 35 first half points. Let's look at some of that scoring. It was those two quarterbacks, Alex Drake and Tashay Winfrey, who led their offenses to 35 first half points. And it started on the ground with Alex Drake on this 24-yard touchdown run. That was followed by Tashay Winfrey, also with a touchdown run. That gave Austin a 8-7 early lead. Winfrey wasn't done. She threw for a touchdown here to Michelle Marshall from 11 yards out. Astrid Cruz responding for a 1-yard touchdown for New England. And before the half was out, it was Steph Wickett with her second score of the season. Tashay Winfrey finding her on this 11-yard touchdown pass. That brings us to our halftime score of 22-13. Now let's take a look at the first half stats.
A really evenly matched game in the first half in total yards and time of possession. The turnover for New England really hurt them. They have to come back from that. But the real story has been the development as Winfrey as a passer and rusher for Austin. She looked great.
That brings us to the end of halftime festivities here in Austin, Texas. As the teams return to the field, we get you ready for the second half kickoff. Kickoff is next. Back for third quarter action of LFL Football Night. A game that has the Austin Acoustic up 22-13 over the New England Liberty.
A very even game. If somehow New England could have got the ball in the end zone that last try, obviously it's a tie ball game.
That was a big difference maker, that turnover late in the first half. And Alex Drake will get us underway. A high kick, but very short. Great return by Selena Fudge. And Fudge remains on her feet all the way down to the 10-yard line of New England.
That shows why you have to get the kickoff to the end zone. Alex Drake got under that football, and Fudge, the speedster from Miami, almost took it coast to coast.
An impressive return, and talk about good field position. This Austin offense taking over at the New England 10-yard line. You can't do much better than that.
Great field position, and the last thing you want to do if you're New England, give them great field position with one of the most talented quarterbacks in their league. They might go for the jugular right now.
This is even a bigger opportunity, I would say, for this New England defense. A defense that was used and abused by Tashay Winfrey the entire first half. Now Winfrey going back to work from the shotgun. Handoff to Missy Bork. We haven't called her name just yet. That is another weapon for this Austin offense.
Missy Bork, she's just giving Michelle Marshall a break. I don't see her staying there a long time at running back.
A second and goal after that 2-yard run by Missy Bork. Tashay Winfrey remains in the shotgun. Has receivers flanked to each side. This offense is not even threatening to run the ball. They seem very comfortable with Winfrey and the passing game.
Bork looks a little confused back there right now.
They're going to dump it off. A little screen pass to Missy Bork. And Bork cutting through the first tackler, Tessa Alexandria. But for no gain, setting up a third and goal.
I'm hoping Michelle Marshall is not injured. They're leaving Bork in at running back. I mean, she's a good athlete, but she's no Michelle Marshall.
Now a second and goal after that no gain dump off to Missy Bork. This offense looking to add to its lead. Winfrey from the shotgun. Dropping back to pass, looking to the left side. Heavy pressure coming up. Tessa Alexandria. And I'm not sure she completed that pass to Michelle Marshall, falling backwards. You want to talk about arm strength, Bobby Huco. That was something else.
Cam Newton could not have made this pass. They came with an all-out casino blitz. There was absolutely nothing there. Michelle Marshall coming across the back of the end zone. The hardest pass for a right-handed quarterback is going to your left. She throws a BB across the grain for a touchdown while she's getting killed.
The rest of the league has got to take note of number 10. She looked impressive against Seattle, but imploded in the second half. This game, she has just been remarkable throughout.
I'm dead serious. It was a blessing that she opened up against Danica Brace in Seattle, her first game.
That extra point attempt will be no good. That was a 2-point attempt. Our score will remain 28-13 as Austin is starting to take control of this game.
They look solid right now, rock solid. But then again, that bad kickoff by Alex Drake gave them unbelievable field possession to start the second half.
New England going back to work here offensively. Coach Jericho Harris has got to be pleased with what he's seen both offensively and defensively.
Absolutely. Right now for New England, I expect Alex Drake to start airing it out.
Drake remains under center. Handoff to Astrid Cruz. Great backside pursuit. Tiffany Merritt coming up.
A missed block there by Samantha Puckett. She was a pulling right guard. She was supposed to be in front of Cruz, but she never got there. So when Cruz got the ball, there was nobody out there to block anybody.
Samantha just said Puckett, and that ended up losing 2 yards for this offense, setting up a 2nd and 12.
I think she really did, because she did not attempt to block anybody on that play.
And that's Danielle Green getting nothing. This defense is really on fire right now. Tiffany Zimmerman and Kyler Hurt. This is not a very big defense, Bobby. They just swarm to the football.
They're very athletic. They swarm to the football, and they play with fire. I'm really impressed. Like I said, they do not look like an expansion team. Whoever's on their schedule after this, you better watch out for Austin.
That'll back up the young quarterback, Alex Drake, setting up a 3rd and 10. High snap, managed to control it. Looking to the right flat. It looked like Kristen Beckman and Alex Drake were simply not on the same page there.
Great coverage by Kyler Hurt. Man-to-man coverage outside. Drake had nothing. Nobody was open. She tried to force it in there, but excellent coverage by Hurt.
And if you're New England here, you could ill afford to turn it over on downs this deep on your side of the field. A 4th and 10 from the 15-yard line. Drake from the shotgun. Gonna dump it off to Kristen Beckman. Nothing doing. That's Selena Fudge with a great open field tackle. And that will bring us to a timeout. It was Tashay Winfrey finding Michelle Marshall. Austin up 28-13. Back to 3rd quarter action of LFL football night. Austin up big, 28-13. And what about that 4th down call, Bobby?
Not a great call at all by Donnie Williams. They needed 10. They throw an underneath pattern. They threw to the right person, Beckman, but she only got 3 yards. Didn't have a chance to get the 1st down.
Austin has got to be loving this field position. Again, taking over on the New England side of the ball. That pass to Marissa Golson only gains a yard. Jessica Johnson on the tackle.
Even though that play only gained 1 yard, I really like the play selection. Just get the ball into Goldston's hand. You saw her speed. She can go anywhere down the field. She's dangerous. Get her the football like that. I like the call.
2nd and 9, ball at the New England 17. And Austin can pretty much put this game away if they can get this ball into the end zone. A 2nd and 9 play. That's a handoff to Michelle Marshall, tackled by the back of her hair by Jessica Johnson.
Another good play selection. You bring Marshall underneath, in motion, just hand her the football, almost a horse collar right now. In fact, it was a horse collar. They should have called a penalty on that. But Austin moving the football.
A 1st and goal. This offense just continues to drive the ball against the New England defense. Shea Winfrey looking over that secondary. This is going to be a toss left. Marissa Goldston. Goldston gaining 3 yards on the toss.
That's okay. In a red zone like that, 3 yards is good. She followed her block. She cut up, got 3 yards. They're moving the football. Right now, New England's not looking good on offense or defense.
They just do not seem to be as prepared as Austin. And both were expansion teams. Both had the exact same schedule in the offseason. I guess the real difference here has got to be coaching.
Coaching or conditioning. It could, third quarter, they shouldn't be tired, but they're not playing the same they did in the first quarter.
Now a 2nd and goal for Shea Winfrey in this offense. Winfrey rolling right, has an opening, great block on the edge. And Winfrey walking into the end zone.
You're right about that block. That sparks her into the end zone. Great play getting outside, but that block by Goldston got her points on the board. They're really gelling as a team. That was a broken play, but there's an outside receiver, saw her quarterback in trouble, made a great block.
This offense is hitting on all cylinders right now. A great running game when they need it, but more importantly, a passing game that's in tune.
This crowd is loving this team, loving their fire. They wish that the University of Texas played with this fire.
And that is another great connection with Michelle Marshall doing an Austin leap. That will extend Austin's lead to 36-13.
Michelle Marshall putting her name on the LFL map tonight.
Pass interference. They running a pick route. They ran that every time they scored a touchdown. They're blocking before she catch the ball. Before she.
I was watching her closer. I was watching the one that cut inside.
Yeah, they're running a pick route.
Okay.
They're running a pick route. Okay.
Head coach Donnie Williams of New England lobbying to anybody that'll listen to him as he finds his team down 36-13 here in Austin.
He was lobbying, complaining they were running a pick route. I didn't see the pick, and obviously the referees didn't see the pick. But you're right, he's reaching for anything right now.
And you can see a look of bewilderment on the sideline of New England. That is a team that's down and down big in this game.
They just look confused right now, offense and defense. They have to get back to their game plan. And their game plan was to let Alex Drake throw the football and get the football to Beckman.
New England will take over. Ball at the 15-yard line. Back to throw is Drake. And she connects with Kristen Beckman. That good for 5 yards.
That cracks me up right there. Donnie Williams complaining about a pick play. He comes back with a pick play of his own right there to get Beckman open.
Setting up a 2nd and 5, ball up to the New England 20. Drake will remain in the shotgun. Quick little screen dump off to Astrid Cruz. That's actually Danielle Green. Tackled by Kyler Hurt.
Alex Drake needs to throw the football like this. This is when they're dangerous. When they're running the ball with Cruz for 2 yards, nobody cares. When Drake's got the football in her hands and can throw down the field at any point, that's when Austin's scared.
Drake back to pass, looking over the middle. And that looked just to be a drop ball by Kristen Beckman.
She was open. Watch the read. She looks off the defenders, comes back to Beckman. That's Beckman's 3rd drop of the night.
That is not how you're going to help a young quarterback in Alex Drake. These receivers have got to give her some help. 2nd and 10, ball at the Austin 24. Again, a little dump off, nothing doing, the defense reading it. That was intended for Danielle Green.
That play, I don't know why it's in their playbook. They call it all night. It was a deceptive play earlier that set up the post pattern, but in general, that play just does not work.
They are simply running screens to the right and to the left with no lead blockers.
Exactly. They're not even really screens. They're more like swing passes with no blocking.
As this Austin crowd comes back to life, a 3rd and 10, ball remains at the Austin 24. That was faking the screen, throwing over the middle. That looked to be Lulu Jackson. That completion only good for 4 yards, still needing 6 more yards on this 4th down.
Not a bad selection coming back underneath the Lulu, but she couldn't break the tackles. Another key 4th down.
And we've got an injury on the field. That's Selena Fudge. Fudge has had one hell of a ball game. A lot of Austin fans concerned at number 18 being down. Hopefully this is just a cramp. They're going to get her up and walk her off the field. Let's see if we've got a look at Fudge's injury here. Oh, she just had Lulu Jackson, all 190 pounds, just land on her abdomen. A critical 4th and 6 now for Alex Drake. Looking to the right side, has a receiver. And that ball tipped away. No, wait a minute, that was caught. Unbelievable connection here.
Efazoki is okay with me. What concentration. That ball should have been broken up by Tiggs. Just swatted away or just intercept it. But the ball's up in the air, and Efazoki comes down with it. Wow. New England back in the game.
And if you're New England, that is exactly the kind of break you need to have a shot at this game, because this offense can score.
Alex Drake had all night to throw the ball. No pressure at all. She threw up kind of a Hail Mary. And Efazoki came down with it. Great play for New England.
New England now lining up for the 2-point conversion. Ball at the 3-yard line. I don't know why you're handing it off to Astrid Cruz, but somehow she gets into the end zone. And that'll bring New England right back into this ball game at 36-21.
Great call giving the ball to Cruz with no blocking. I don't know how she got in there either. That was incredible she got in there, but she did.
Not a good call. We've seen that all night long. That was just poor open field tackling by Austin.
They're back in the ball game. I can't believe it, but they're back in it.
For one play, all of y'all good plays negated. You see that?
Coach Jericho Harris pointing at the scoreboard, saying that all it took was one play, and you've allowed this New England team back into this ball game.
That's why I cannot believe that Donnie Williams just doesn't put the ball in Alex Drake's hands and throw the ball down the field.
This Austin offense going back at it here from the 15-yard line. Handoff, Missy Bork. Bork trying to get to the outside. Great open field tackle by Kristen Beckman.
Beckman read that play. That's what safeties have to do. Great open field tackle, like you said. They're pulling Bork out right now and putting Marshall back in.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're using Missy Bork with all the success Michelle Marshall has had in this game. A 2nd and 9 ball at the Austin 16-yard line. That's a toss left. This looks to be a reverse to Chastity Morales. Look at your lead blocker. That's to Shea Winfrey. And Morales gaining 8 yards on that carry.
Great call by Austin, having the end around reverse, fake the sweep, give it to Morales. Watch her switch the ball right here like a pro. Switch it outside. Get it away from the defense. Great run.
I just think the fundamentals of these two teams are so vastly different, and that's now reflected on the scoreboard.
It all comes down to coaching. Write that down. Coaching is everything.
A 3rd and 1 handoff. Michelle Marshall. Great tackle by Jessica Johnson. That will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter with New England inching its way back. Back for the final 10 minutes of football. LFL football night from Austin, Texas. The home team up big in this game. To Shea Winfrey back to throw. Looking over the middle, a dangerous pass deflected by Kristen Beckman.
Right now, Beckman, it's a great play defensively, except go for the football. They need a turnover to get back in this football. Catch the football, be a game changer.
A 2nd and 10 after that incomplete pass intended for Leilani Lopez. Head coach Don Williams having a long night here for New England.
Started out so good, but it got long in the 3rd quarter.
A 2nd and 10 play. Ball remains at the 24-yard line. Another reverse handoff. This one going to Michelle Marshall. Actually, that is Leilani Lopez. Lopez 11 yards on that reverse.
Mitch, you just got finished talking about coaching. This is great coaching that opened this play up. They double-teamed on the outside. Wide receivers blocking down the field. It cleared it for Lopez to go for 11 yards.
The New England defense a little over-pursuing. Not following angles. Again, going back to coaching. Austin now 1st and 10, ball at the 12-yard line. To Shea Winfrey will hand off to Michelle Marshall. Look at the vision of Michelle Marshall waiting for her blocks to develop and hitting those holes.
Absolutely agreed. And it's nothing against Missy Bork. It's just that Michelle Marshall knows how to run the football. She reads her blocks and boom, cuts like that. That's a great run.
A 6-yard run by Michelle Marshall. I would not be surprised if they go back to her here. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to hand it off, trying to find a gap to the outside. That was great sealing of the edge by number 10, Jessica Johnson of New England.
Great play by Johnson, but the rest of her teammates have to come in and try to strip the football. She stood up the running back, Johnson, great play, but everybody's got to go after the football. They need a turnover bad.
3rd and 2, the clock continues to run. At some point, that clock is going to become as big an opponent to New England as Austin is. 3rd and 2 play for Tashay Winfrey in Austin. That looks to be another quick little slant. Just could not connect with Michelle Marshall.
That's the worst pass all night long, which is saying a lot because she's having a great night. Winfrey threw the ball down below Marshall's knees, which is tough to do when you're coming across underneath.
They've connected several times on that slant play.
It's a great play, just a bad pass.
You could see a lot of time has gone into developing this passing game. Now a 4th and 2, you get the option of running the ball or possibly going to the air. This Austin offense has put itself in great position all night.
Biggest play of the night for New England.
New England showing blitz. That's Jessica Johnson getting to the backfield and taking down Tashay Winfrey.
Jessica Johnson is a beast. Nobody threatened her off the edge, so she blitzed in the corner position, and I haven't seen anybody do that to Winfrey all year long. What a play by Johnson.
Although from the body language after a big play like that to not have any emotion, I think that kind of speaks volumes to where these two teams are from a mental standpoint.
I agree 100% with that, but that's the play she needed to make to get New England in the game. Now it's up to Alex Drake.
This is exactly what New England needed, a defensive stand. As you said, Drake back to work, looking down the field, wasting no time. That pass intended for Jolie Efizoki, just past the reach of her hands.
Efizoki needs to run through the football. Not a bad pass by Drake, but Efizoki stopped running, and Drake threw it over her head. If she keeps running, she runs through the football.
Efizoki, one of the better athletes, a track star, just very raw as far as talent. And you could see from that pattern running, just not there yet. A 2nd and 10 play. This looks to be a design screen. And that was well smelled out by Tiffany Zimmerman, having one hell of a ball game from the DN position. And that will take us to a media timeout as New England finally starting to show some life. Back to 4th quarter action of LFL football night, with New England trying to get back into this ball game. A 3rd and 14 at its own 7-yard line. Now Drake back to pass, looking over the middle, has Kristen Beckman. And what a hit by Selena Fudge. We've got Fudge mic'd up. Let's listen in.
What a hit by Fudge, but if somehow Alex Drake could have led her a little bit more, Beckman might have scored. She threw it behind Beckman.
A 4th and 5 and just could not connect with Astrid Cruz. And what's worse for New England is they're going to turn it over again inside their own 20-yard line.
I just don't get it. 4th down, you have to get to the sticks. They throw the ball way underneath again.
And that young lady, Alex Drake, at times seems to be put in a position to not be successful.
It's the play call. Last time it was 4th and 10. They threw it underneath and got 3. Here it's 4th and 5. They throw a swing pass again. It has not worked all night long, and it doesn't work again.
There's absolutely no complexity to this New England offense. If you watch 5 minutes of film, you can call almost every play.
Absolutely. It's a shame. You have a quarterback with a gun, and they're not using it.
A 1st down handoff. Renee Shepard getting to the outside, staying on her feet all the way down to about the 2-yard line.
When I interviewed Jericho Harris, he spoke highly of Shepard. A lot of speed. They just need to get her the ball more often. She almost takes that one in.
There are so many skills positions players on this offense.
She's thanking the OC right there for getting her the football for once.
And for those of you non-football fans, an OC is an offensive coordinator. And for Austin, that is Greg Lord, calling one heck of a game.
I would not be surprised if Lord ended up being a head coach very quickly.
A double reverse. Give Jessica Johnson a lot of credit for staying home and making the open field tackle on Michelle Marshall.
Let me take back what I just said about the OC, Greg Lord. That was a terrible call inside the 10. When you're in the 10 with this kind of weapon at quarterback, you don't do a reverse like that, but he still is a great OC.
Marshall lost 3 yards on that carry. A 2nd and goal for this Austin offense. And we'll see if New England defense has one more hold here. Handoff to Missy Bork, and Missy Bork just does not have the speed to get outside. Glenda Cancel on the tackle. Let's listen into New England's sideline.
You're the defensive end.
I just was asking what side.
But even if you was on the wrong side, you weren't on the damn line of scrimmage. Man, and you say you want to play, but in practice, you're on the line of scrimmage. Be quiet, because you're the defensive end. How can you ask questions about that?
I would be very concerned if I was a New England fan right now. There seems to be just a lot of confusion and frustration.
I agree. Donnie Williams all over Torrey Barden right there. It didn't look like a lot of coaching going on, just a lot of yelling.
Pass complete, meanwhile, to Marissa Goldston. That was for a gain of 5 yards. Coach Donnie Williams still upset. His personnel not doing what he wants, and I'm not sure he's putting him in position to be successful.
I absolutely agree. Donnie Williams, he's a good coach, but tonight he's not putting his players in the right position to succeed.
Now trips right, a key 4th and goal here for Austin. They can put this game away. Great move to the outside by Tashay Winfrey, and bounces into the end zone. You want to talk about a playmaker, that is number 10.
A bad angle by Glenda Cancel. She came from the outside on a corner blitz, but Winfrey just made one move, jumped outside of the blitz, scores a touchdown. What an athlete.
Austin extending its lead to 42-21. That is pretty much insurmountable.
Winfrey is a coach's dream. Jericho Harris and Greg Lord, they know they have a superstar, and she's showing it tonight.
A 2-point conversion here for Austin, as they try to really cement this win. A run to the outside. Missy Bork, who's had absolutely no luck, and yet they continue to give her the rock.
She made the right cut. The blocking, they blocked inside. She had to cut outside, but they want her to go north and south, but they're not giving her any help with that blocking.
Oh, hey, somebody go in for stretch. Hey, you good, Steph? Missy, hey, you got to stop running the ball scared. You run the ball, you stretching it out. You need to get your upfield, Missy. Get upfield.
Coach Jericho Harris telling Missy Bork to turn it up the field and stop dancing.
I'm actually on Missy Bork's side on this one. There was no blocking to turn it up. She had to turn it outside.
And look at the hit on Alex Drake. This has got to be a fun time to be on defense for Austin. You get to pin your ears back and get after number 11.
They know the only way New England gets back in the game is Alex Drake throwing the football. They're coming after her.
That will bring us to the 2-minute mark. Austin up big. Back for the final 2 minutes of football, and that is your game MVP, Tashay Winfrey. What a night she's had, and why not celebrate it with a beer?
Absolutely. She deserves it tonight. Let's see if she can chug it as good as the people in Chicago do it. She's not doing a bad job. I'll hand it to her for a rookie. That's not bad.
Hey, that is quite the ceremony that's developing here in the LFL. If you get game MVP, you're going to enjoy a beer.
What a game tonight by Tashay Winfrey. Running the football, throwing the football, just great all-around football. I love it.
Like you said earlier, this could be the birth of the league's next superstar in Tashay Winfrey.
I know she's only playing against a first-year team in New England, but she's showing everything and pulling all stops.
2nd and 10 as New England takes over. Ball remains at the 15-yard line. Looking over the middle, has a receiver. And Drake completing it to Kristen Beckman. Beckman has been her #1 target tonight.
Beckman will continue to be her #1 target. If you lead her a little bit more, she gets some more yardage, but she's having a solid night.
Beckman, a Wes Welker type receiver. If you want to make a correlation to the NFL and specifically the New England Patriots, that's what they see her being in that slot role.
She gets open a lot.
3rd and 3 from the shotgun. Again, a design play to Beckman. Beckman cannot keep her footing. That ball was a little low by Drake.
It's a little tunnel screen. You got to put that right in her belly and let her run with the football.
New England offense quick to get back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to hand it off to Astrid Cruz, and a lot of traffic inside. Nothing doing. Tackle by Steph Wickett.
When you're down 21 points this late in the game, you have to throw the football down the field. You can get back in it quick with the onside kick and everything. That play right there just runs clock.
That run was good enough for a New England first down. Drake keeps the ball alive and almost intercepted. Selena Fudge had nothing but green turf ahead of her.
What a game she is having tonight. She jumped the coverage, jumped the ball. All she has to do is catch it, and she walks in the end zone.
A 2nd and 10 now. We saw that earlier with Kristen Beckman of New England, nearly jumping the route and taking it back for 6. Selena Fudge had her opportunity there. Alex Drake back to pass, looking over the middle, has a receiver. That is Lulu Jackson. That is the big target at tight end. Lulu Jackson coming over from the former Cleveland Crush. They've really not used her much.
Not at all. Alex Drake's going to be a star in this league. She just needs some better coaching and a couple more players, but she can play football. While she's going down, she's somehow delivered a completion.
New England going back to work offensively, keeping the drive alive, overshooting her target and intercepted. That is Selena Fudge coming up with the interception. She's had a great game on both sides of the ball.
It's only fitting she came out with that interception after dropping that short touchdown pass. But Mitch, you're right, what a player.
Way to read the pattern. That was just overthrown by Alex Drake.
She threw it right into coverage. That was her worst pass of the night. But a great play by Selena Fudge. She deserves the interception. Austin looks really good tonight, Mitch.
A very complete team for an expansion team. A defense that's not very big, but they pursue to the ball. They play very aggressive, and an offense now that is very balanced.
It shows how good they are. Against Seattle, they got beat, but they played good football. Now they're coming into their own.
A 1st and 10 play, and we've got a new quarterback. That's Anna Garza, who they're high on. Garza played some 11-on-11 football down in Mexico. Now a free agent pickup and a backup to Tashay Winfrey.
I like this by the coaches. Some coaches in the LFL keep their starter in the whole game. This gives her some time, some experience at LFL quarterback.
Anna Garza having a tough time with that snap. Kind of a busted play. It will not matter. Austin picking up the first ever franchise win in an impressive fashion, Bobby.
They're going to sneak up to some teams in the LFL. Jericho Harris got his first win. They have another expansion team next week in Dallas, their next game. I'm anxious to see how this team's going to react, play, and move on in the LFL.
And that will do it for us here in Austin, Texas. For our director, Keith Holland, producer, Jonas Nordman, Bobby Huco, Desi Mitchison, this is Mitch Mortaza. We will see you next week on LFL Football Night.